Choosing to stay in Gaza City feels like accepting a fate shrouded in uncertainty and danger. It's not bravery. It's exhaustion, desperation, and the crushing weight of having no real choice. And yet we remain here, clinging to what little we have left, even as the world around us crumbles. Before I dive deeper into this story, let me remind you that our mission is to keep journalism alive and accessible for everyone. But we can only do this with your help. If you believe in the importance of independent reporting, please consider supporting us through a paid subscription. https://eb7c16655a46f832ae80878. Gifting one to someone else. https Droxite News subscribe http://email gift true. Or making a tax-deductible donation. https givebutter.com support Dropsite. Every bit of support helps ensure that voices like mine continue to be heard. Now, back to my reality, a tent perched precariously atop the ruins of what was once my home in western Gaza City. My husband and 5 children share this fragile shelter with thousands of others who, like us, refuse to abandon the place they call home. The Israeli military advances closer each day, their relentless campaign leaving devastation in its wake. Yet, despite the fear gripping our hearts, we've decided not to flee south again, not this time. Why? Because fleeing didn't save us last time. In fact, it deepened our trauma. Just over a year ago, in October 2023, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered Palestinians in Gaza to relocate southward. We complied, enduring 15 harrowing months away from everything familiar. When the January 2024 ceasefire briefly halted hostilities, we returned north, only for Israel to break the truce in March and resume its assault. Living in southern Gaza wasn't merely displacement, it was a nightmare of constant movement. Over those 15 months, we were forced to relocate 13 times, chasing elusive safety, clean water, or basic privacy. Each move stripped away another layer of dignity, another shred of hope. So when the orders came again earlier this month, directing us to evacuate Gaza City entirely, we said no. This decision wasn't born of courage, but rather a stubborn refusal to relive that anguish. Imagine being trapped between 2 impossible options: staying put without knowing what horrors tomorrow might bring, or leaving behind the remnants of your life for an uncertain future elsewhere. That's where we find ourselves today. At night, the distant thunder of explosions echoes across Gaza City. Neighborhoods like Jabalia, Al-Saftawi, and Abu Iskandar, once vibrant communities, are now ghost towns, emptied by war. The Israeli army isn't just invading these areas. They're systematically erasing them. Robotic vehicles packed with explosives are sent into residential blocks, detonated remotely to cause maximum destruction. Then, the process repeats in the next neighborhood. Any residents who remain face death or worse. We know our turn is coming. Our neighborhood, teeming with displaced families living in tents amidst the wreckage, sits squarely in the path of this calculated devastation. But there's something even more terrifying than the robotic bombs: the quadcopters. These small drones buzz overhead, armed with bombs and bullets, targeting civilians indiscriminately. They strike at random, forcing people out of whatever semblance of shelter they've managed to find. And so we stay, for now. But how long can we hold on? The Israeli forces draw nearer every day, and I fear our resolve may falter under the pressure. Some believe the South offers refuge, but history tells a different story. Just days ago, a married couple seeking safety in the Nusayrat refugee camp was killed in an Israeli airstrike. Journalist Hassan Duhan met the same fate in Khan Yunis while sheltering in his tent. Even hospitals aren't safe. Nasser Hospital was bombed twice in one day, claiming 22 lives, including 5 journalists. My daughter Saida recently asked me, if we leave for the south, can we come back? Her innocent question left me speechless. How do you explain to a child that returning might never be an option? For many, staying in Gaza City represents a final stand against permanent exile from the Gaza Strip. Leaving could mean losing everything forever. This sense of solidarity binds us together, even in the direst circumstances. Recently, a friend's sister called, asking if her family of 4 could join us in our already overcrowded tent. Though there's barely room to breathe, I couldn't say no, not after my friend had generously shared her home with me when I needed it most. My husband, understandably overwhelmed, questioned how we'd manage. I had no answers, only silence. Tents are a luxury few can afford these days. Prices have skyrocketed, reaching nearly $900 apiece, a far cry from the $70 they cost just weeks ago. Meanwhile, Israel falsely claims to be flooding Gaza with aid. The truth is that most displaced families lack even the most basic necessities. In the end, my friend's sister chose to head south instead. She urged me to reconsider, warning that staying would mean watching the city reduce to ashes. Yet, dozens of families continue streaming into western Gaza City, fleeing the invasion. One neighbor newly arrived and living in the tent beside mine posed the same question everyone asks. Should we stay or go? As a journalist covering these events, I tried to offer reassurance. I suggested that perhaps the invasion aimed less at conquering Gaza City and more at pressuring Hamas during ceasefire negotiations. Israel, I argued, seems to view Palestinian civilians as pawns in a larger game, a means to extract concessions militarily unattainable otherwise. But here's where it gets controversial. Is Israel using starvation as a weapon? Since March 2025, the blockade has tightened, cutting off food and aid entirely. To date, 322 Palestinians, including 121 children, have died due to malnutrition. Ceasefire talks remain gridlocked, offering little hope for relief. Even when aid trucks finally enter Gaza, they rarely reach those in need. Armed gangs loot the supplies, selling them at prices beyond the reach of families who've lost everything. So what's the answer? Should we stay and risk annihilation, or flee south and gamble with survival? I feel trapped in an endless maze, unable to see a way forward. Strength fails me, clarity eludes me, and decisions feel meaningless. Perhaps surrendering to the unknown is all that remains. What would you do in our shoes? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.